Hi guys, David Texas here, and I'm back, and what I want to show you today is a little test I run on all the parts I use before I install them in these guitars, these friends of mine guitars, or mine, okay? Now, this buddy of mine owns this little ES339 fake, just like mine. He got me the parts he wants to use in it. He bought me all part potentiometers, because I didn't want to pay the 12 bucks a piece for the Gibsons, plus he couldn't find 4 in a row. He couldn't find 4 at the store. It's like, good luck. Yeah, I know you got to order the darn things. But anyway, he said he couldn't test these in the package because, first of all, the little legs themselves are pretty much sealed inside the wrappers, okay? And the turning knobs, right, are all turned to 0. Now, I found that out, of course, by, putting the tester to the legs and then 0. Okay, so let me show you what I found out with some of these all parts. Okay, it's kind of amazing. It's kind of good. All right, so now we're at 531. Okay, which is the top hot part. All right, let's just back it on down. Let's just go down slowly. And I'm testing this as we do this filming, and that's a pretty good potentiometer. That's a good one, okay? And it's maxed at 530, right? So what I'm trying to do is other 3 is find one that matches or comes close to matching that. Now this one I took completely out of the package, okay? So let's just put this on camera. Put it up. And we have 521, so that's real close to the other one, right? Now we're going to test it. Whoops, put it back on contact. Now we're going to test it by taking it down the loop, make sure there's no gaps in it. Whoa. That's not the potentiometer, guys. That's my hands on these alligator clips. And make sure they're in good contact. All right, start at 521. I'm going to start backing it down real slowly. You don't want any gaps. All of a sudden you go from 300 to 200, something like that take place. And so far it looks pretty good. Alright, all the way down. Go back up just one more time on this one. Make sure I don't skip any. This looks like a good part too, okay? Let's see. It's back again. Whoa. I thought I saw a gap in there on the 350. Nope. This one's perfect. It's a little stiff, needs to be worked on some, just spin it around a few more times. So now match it up with one that's 515, around that range, right? That one of these matches up. So now we got the next one. Okay, and I'm just going to snap it on there. We come with 498, 497, 498. It's not bad. Let's back it down. I'm going too fast. Try it up the other way. So make sure you're not putting in a bad pot, especially if you go put one into a ES guitar. You don't want a bad pot. So that's 494, okay? This is one of the weaker ones. So we'll set that aside, okay? And last one we got here. And the reason he got these, he said that they couldn't find any Gibsons. They just didn't have any in stock at the time. No 500s, a couple of 250s, but that was it. This one, let's see, is at 525. That's about like the rest of them, okay? And as I said, you can't test these in the package because the pots are set at 0, right? They all 4 are set at 0. This looks like a good one too. So you got them 4 good potentiometers. There's one weaker one in the group. That's no big deal. That can be adjusted. We'll put that on the tone, okay? The rest of them go on volume, the ones that match. Those 2 will go on the volume, the rest on tone, and we're set. Okay, so there we are. That's the way to test these and make sure. And I wanted you to see what these all parts are all about. looks like these are pretty good. They may not last as long as the Gibsons, but looks like pretty heavy duty, pretty good parts. We'll find out when we play it later on. Okay guys, and also going into my friend's little ES339, our set of these he purchased, Tradition Pups. He wants to try these out. And you see that it's coming out 864, and these are actually 5-wire setups, so you can have a split coil if you want to, but he doesn't want to do that. He said he didn't want to purchase the potentiometers, had to go and find those, order those. He want to get it done a little faster, so he's going, alright, just get it done. So I went, okay, as best as I can do it. But that's the first one. That was 864, I believe. And let's see what this one comes out to be. It's wired up. And that's 886. And that makes sense because that's the bridge, okay? That's the bridge. Whoa! Okay, let's pull it apart here. That's the bridge pickup, right? A little hotter. Like I said, these are 5-wire, so they can be split, you know, coil split. But he doesn't want to do that, so we're going to set those up for him in the little ES, and that's hot enough for an ES, okay? And boost that up with some, tube screamer that he uses, and he's fine with that, okay? So that's what we're looking at so far going into that guitar. Now let's switch to some hardware parts. We're going to a 3-way. Alright, typical Les Paul type 3-way, and we're sticking with these Proline parts on that. And I believe he's using, okay guys, the last part of these parts I'm talking about I use a stereo end jack simply because it provides a better contact for the jack over a period of time. It's got these 2 posts compared to 1 to hold the 1/4-inch connector in there, right, from your cord, right? And it's wired up as a single, as a mono, but that extra piece of metal in there does help out, okay? Helps keep that guitar's thing in position, or its contact in position against where it's supposed to be, and not get loose and wobbly over a period of time. And I've come to find out they're a little bit more heavily duty made. As you can see, that is like a plastic, where a lot of these are made out of a paperboard type of material. But all the stereo ones I've seen come with this type of plastic, or a lighter brown type of plastic that lasts a lot longer and is a lot more heavy duty. Alright, now, also sitting in front of me, on the camera, are some wire sets, right? And I use 3 sets of wires, colors, and I used to use a single strand wire, right? As you can see here, okay? And it got to a point where this wire here has no give to it when you're actually pushing things into the ES or into a guitar through its sound holes, and it will actually push against your solder line very stiffly, or your solder spot stiffly, and pop loose, okay? Unless you really just, you know, slobber the solder on there, okay? And so what I use normally is what you call strand wire, right? Really light gauge. And when I want a really good connection on it, like on this, sometimes I'll spread it out so I've got more than one connection spot, and just cover that with the solder. Solder. Okay, I can't pronounce it right. The English pronounce it properly, I don't. But I use that multi-strands to do the job, and it does a much better job than the singles. Alright, so I think that pretty much covers what I'm using here. I'm using a little 40-watt simple soldering iron, right, that I've tinned up already. I'm using a 0.05 diameter, 40% lead, 60% tin solder on most of this, and a little bit thinner. I have the same composition, 60-40, on a thinner gauge, and here's a thicker gauge like this, you see? Alright? And it just takes a drop on there. Okay, and here's the thinner gauge, right? Here's a comparison. And like I said, it just takes a drop on there to get the job done, even when shoving these things in with the into an ES. So it doesn't take a heck of a lot, right? So the thicker the 0.05, yeah, just a drop, maybe a little bit more with the thinner gauge to make sure. All right, now I'm going to be using these new potentiometers. I've not used these before, okay? But on the Gibsons, I've always scored the back of them up so I get a better contact for the solder, okay? The solder. I still don't pronounce that, I'm sure. Sorry guys in England. Let's see. What else? Well, you've seen all the parts. I'll be putting on basically the same old stuff as before. I'll be using the orange drop caps. The rest of the stuff is pretty much like I had on there before. Let's see, the 0.223s, I'll be using those for the drops, right? And I guess that's pretty much it. I think I've gone over every part of this that I'll be doing and the parts that I'll be using. Like I said, on the Gibson ones, I've scored those on the back of these. If you can see, here's one of those older Gibsons I took off the guitar, right? But on these new ones, they're not as high a quality of finish on the back of them, it looks like. So what I'll do is just pretty much clean these, get my finger markings off them and hand oil grease, and just, you know, get a test and see how it solders up. So make a good connection with it, okay? And I'll of course be using the same simple wiring diagram to wire up a couple of humbuckers as before. I may skip the strap type of wire up and go with a simple, straightforward Les Paul wire up, and just add more length to the wiring so I can push them aside and tie strap those up away out of sight, okay, on these ESs. So there we are for all the parts. Any questions, give me a holler. Dave in Texas. Bye.